Hi, welcome to Astrology for Gann Traders. My name's Olga Morales. Now, this is my first recording for the looking ahead, the first week of 2026, and this will be something I do every week for those of you are interested in learning more about what's happening in the cosmos and the stars and the planets, and which is my passion, obviously. So let's get started. I've called this Cycles Never Forget, and it's called January Karmic Turning Point because it is. It's amazing when I had a look at it, what exactly is happening. So this is what's happening, okay? On the 9th of January, we've got this triple conjunction of the Sun, Mars, and the Venus, all at 19 degrees of Capricorn. And I've put this on the dial. They come all together, and also Jupiter is at 20 degrees of Cancer, so it's in opposition. But on the other side is the planetary nodes, the nodes of the moon, the lunar nodes, sorry, and that creates it's the classic midpoint structure, but this is also called antitia, which is basically that they make up equidistance from the 0 degrees or the solstices points. And remember, my dial is actually 90 degrees, and all the ingresses and equinoxes start at this point, or the cardinal signs start there. So it's very much a dial that was used and is used for ingresses is very important. Ingresses into the cardinal signs, they are the hinges of the earth, okay? And the other thing is that Pluto and Uranus are also their midpoint. They're equal distance from this point, but also their midpoint is exactly 0 Aries. Now, 0 Aries is known as the world point. All the cardinal ingress points are, but 0 degrees of Aries, that's the beginning of the official year, which is the spring equinox. But again, it's like the node of the earth, okay? So this is important because the triple conjunction between these planets, the inner planets, doesn't happen all that often. I mean, they do. The Sun and Venus obviously has a specific pattern. Venus and Mars has a pattern, and also the Sun and Mars have a pattern. What coming together is really important, and it's special at 19 degrees of Capricorn. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is that we can see this line up here, right? The big thing about also 2026 is these two planets, Neptune and Saturn, are slowly, they've only got a few more degrees. Well, Neptune will be at 0 degrees of Aries on the 27th of January, and Saturn will be there on the 14th of February, on Valentine's Day. Wow, that might be a bit fiery, okay? So, but they will be together in conjunction, 0 degrees of Aries on the 21st of February, okay? So these, you can see that once they come to that 0 point, these two are also ignited, okay? So we've got 4 outer planets coming to the same point. And I did talk about this already in my previous videos if you're interested. But for now, that first week of January, this is what's important. Okay. Now, the fact that it's got creates a midpoint with the lunar nodes, there's a karmic element to this. So for me, these can represent relationships and people. But because of the nodes, it's a karmic thing. So you might meet someone different or have an experience that is a little bit karmic. You feel like this was meant to be, and that's how it feels. The fact that Neptune is there, that can create issues of you're confused, or it might be someone is misleading you. So you have to be a bit careful. Your judgment might not be correct with this. So be careful if you thinking that someone's really special or is your perfect partner. There can be some point of deception here. I don't really like that Neptune being there, okay? So it's almost like there's a power, there's desire and action all together, and it's got to do with some unfinished karma, okay? Because we've got the nodes across here. So there could be someone that comes into your life that you think, oh, I feel like I've known you forever. And you probably have because they've come back from a past life, okay? Now, the next slide, this is what it looks like if you want to look at it on the graphic ephemeris rather than a chart, you can just plot it on the graphic ephemeris. And what I've done is I've just put the Sun, Venus, and Mars on the chart, and you can see them applying an aspect. So they're all sort of traveling until they interact and they make a conjunction all together, which is pretty special. So it's really good to see it, look at it on a graph like this. Okay. So what's important for me personally, if you have anything between 17 to 19 degrees of Capricorn, or square that or opposite that, but on the dial, it would be 17 to 19 degrees of the cardinal sign. My moon's there at 19 degrees of Cancer, and that was Gann's Mars. So there's something here for me and Gann. There's always something when I look at our charts. And I thought a lot of people have got planets at that point or that degree of 19. Okay, so have a look at your chart. If you don't know your chart, you can always get a free chart if you look online and just see if you've got anything at 19, between 17 and 19 degrees. Okay, but there's a but as well. I know that that degree is important, that 19 degrees. And I know because that's where the nodes of Pluto are. See, not just the lunar nodes. We have lunar nodes, we know the name, right? But every planet has a node. And also, so Pluto's south node and the north node are at this point between at 19 and 20 degrees of Cancer Capricorn. Okay. So this pattern, why I've called it karmic, because Pluto, especially the south node, is all to do with like karma, but on a global level. Like it's got to do with power, corporations. The fact that's in Capricorn, that, to me, there's something breaking down. But it's because something from the past is going to come up and they've got no way of holding it together. So I mean, Venus is like, can be finances, obviously, the financial world. Mars is to do with military, war, aggression. And the sun can be the leaders of, this is in mundane, the sun always represents king, queens, governments, people in rulership, okay? So if we just look at it simply like that, but the fact that they've got a Pluto, like the god of the underworld, sort of bubbling underneath it, to me, and the fact that it's part of this structure that's I just explained to you, we've got all these planets all coming to this Aries point. There's something karmically big happening on a global scale. Okay, so I'll be interested to see how this plays out. I mean, some of the times when we can see that it's going to be a pivotal time, but how it then, as above, below, what actually happens, then that's how we get better understanding through observation how these alignments work. Because sometimes we don't see these exact alignments exactly how they are. They've always got an element of difference in them, because this whole configuration here is so important for all of 2026. Okay, it hasn't happened all that many times. I will go into more detail as the weeks progress, because I've done a lot of work on this that I will share progressively with you. Okay, so another time it happened was exactly in 1987, okay, around the 24th of August. Now, this is a personal thing for me, because this happened to be the date that I met my husband, okay? And it was exactly conjunct. It wasn't in Capricorn then, it was around 2 degrees of Virgo. It was on my ascendant. And now in 2026, it's going to be opposite my moon. So it is having an impact on me personally, okay? And I met my husband then. And I mean, it sounds nice. You meet Sun, Venus, Mars right on your rising sign. And someone actually wrote a book about the Venus Mars cycle, and wanted to know about my story because it fitted in so well. Now that the whole Mars Venus cycle is 32 years. Okay, so if you want to look at your own chart, have a look if you had anything, and every 32 years you'll get this. If something happened to you, and you want to look back every 32 years. Don't know how old you are yet. I've just turned 60, so I can look back. Um, so it's a nice cycle to look at, okay? But the fact we know what happened also in 1987, okay, that it was this. This is actually, I've put it on, this is on the Optima chart. This is, if you want to try Optima, you can. This is the link here. You can play around with this. And I've just put the planetary lines on the Dow Jones chart. And all I've done is put the Sun, Venus, and Mars on there. And literally, it was near that top. It was almost exactly the top, okay, of that. So that was how many years ago? That's like 39 years ago. Okay, so it's interesting. I've done more. I've gone back more, but I don't want to do all my work for you. You know, I always say that my recordings are educational, and then you take something from this, and then you keep going. Okay, because all you need is graphic ephemeris or any sort of software like this, and you can go back as far as there's data, and it's exciting. Okay, now I thought I'd end this weekly forecast with lucky dates for 2026, okay? Because everyone goes, when are we going to be lucky, Olga? And I like to tell people that. And so what I've done is I've just put according to your, not just your sign, whether you're a fire sign, earth sign, air sign, or water sign. I've grouped them. But as the year progresses, I'll be more specific about dates. So you need to listen. I'll always put lucky dates at the end of every weekly video, okay? But for now, because we're just going into the year ahead, these are dates that you can put in your diary or somewhere, write them in, because what I've done, how I do this is that I look up lucky midpoints, okay, and transits to those lucky midpoints. And they tend to be quite good for a lot of people. I get a lot of good feedback. So let's have a look. So basically, what I've done here, now these dates are not in order because I was looking at the patterns. So if you're a fire sign, that means Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. These are your dates. So you can see they don't follow a sequence, okay? They are irregular. Some of them do and some of them don't. So put them in your diary. And if you happen to be see one of those dates, I would recommend that you can buy a lottery ticket or a raffle ticket or anything that requires luck. Okay. Okay. So then we have for the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And these are the dates for you. Then we have the lucky dates for air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And the lucky dates for the water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So you can just stop this video and write down these dates. Now, the other thing I wanted to say about 2026 is that a lot's happening. The peak of activity is July. Okay. And as we get closer to it, I'll explain exactly what that is. And then obviously we'll look at everything about astrology, eclipses, everything you need to know about the year ahead. With Gann influence, I'll always put some Gann analysis in it too. I'm just looking at my notes in case I forgot something. I always tend to forget something. But anyway, that's what it is. It's like there's unfinished karma here. Something's going to come up again on that Pluto South node. It's something that's been bubbling at the bottom, and it's just going to come up and say, hey, there's unfinished karma here, but it's a global thing. And I don't know if this has got to do more with the Epstein list. It feels like that because, it's dark, been hidden. They've been doing stuff that is dark and, like disgusting. And I think a lot of people are going to be brought to the surface, the real reality of it, the beginning of anyway, because, it makes sense to me because it's Mars, Venus, and the Sun. It's all what they were doing to young girls, okay, maybe boys too, I don't know, but it seems to me there's this element of corruption coming to the surface with the Pluto South planetary node. Um, so, yeah, let's see what happens. And thanks for listening. And please subscribe if you want to continue listening to me go on about all this amazing planetary stuff, which I love. Okay, thanks for listening.